Have you ever noticed how modern games just don't hit the same level of challenge as the classics? Today we're diving into why games feel easier, whether that's actually true, and what it means for the future of gaming. By the end, you'll not only know the answer, you might rethink how you approach your favorite games entirely. Let's talk about the argument for easier games. Let's take a trip back to the early days of gaming, the NES and the SNES era. Back then, games weren't just hard, they were merciless. You had limited lives, no saves, and brutal trial and error gameplay that often left you staring at a game over screen more often than not. Titles like Mega Man and Castlevania didn't hold your hand. You either learned from your mistakes or you didn't make it past the first level. But why were these games so unforgiving? A big part of it was the constraints of the technology. Developers couldn't fit sprawling worlds or endless cutscenes into a cartridge, so they relied on difficulty to stretch out the gameplay. The challenge wasn't just part of the experience, it was the experience. Beating a tough level or game back then felt like a badge of honor, because only the truly dedicated could do it. You couldn't Google walkthroughs or watch YouTube guides, you had to figure it out yourself or rely on tips from friends or gaming magazines. Fast forward to today and things couldn't be more different. The modern games have evolved dramatically. Save points and autosave systems mean you no longer have to start from scratch after a misstep. Difficulty settings let players tailor the experience to their liking, whether they want a chill story mode or an unforgiving nightmare mode. Accessibility features have become a priority, which led to opening up games to a broader audience, including those who might have struggled with older, more rigid systems. The Last of Us Part 2 had set a gold standard in accessibility, offering options to adjust difficulty dynamically, highlight enemies or simplify puzzles, all while keeping the core experience intact. Graphics and narrative have taken center stage, and gameplay mechanics have become more forgiving to keep players engaged in the story rather than frustrating them with constant failure. Tears of the Kingdom, for example. This is a fantastic game, but when you have enough food, you can just heal mid-battle and you can practically never die. But the biggest change of all is the audience. Back in the NES days, gaming was more of a niche hobby, mostly targeted at kids and young adults. Today, gaming spans generations, demographics and lifestyles. Whether you're a casual gamer logging into Candy Crush after work, a parent sharing Mario Kart with his kids, or a hardcore gamer grinding in Elden Ring, there's a game and a difficulty level designed just for you. Now developers have to balance the needs of casual players who want a relaxing escape with those of hardcore gamers seeking a challenge. This broadening audience has fundamentally shifted game design. Modern games aim to be inclusive, ensuring everyone, from a first-time gamer to a seasoned pro, can enjoy this experience. The push for easier and more accessible titles has become a central point of discussion. Let's talk about the argument for easier games. For some people, it represents a loss of the challenging gameplay that defined earlier generations. But for others, it signifies progress, an industry growing to meet the diverse needs of its players. Accessibility isn't just about disabilities, it's also about creating an inviting experience for casual players. Not everyone grew up mastering the punishing difficulty of retro games like us. Many modern players are stepping into the gaming world for the first time, and overly difficult mechanics can be alienating. Easier games serve as an entry point, helping new players build confidence and discover the joy of gaming without the frustration of constant failure. And ultimately, easier games don't mean the end of challenging gameplay. Instead, they represent the shift towards inclusivity and choice. Developers are finding ways to cater to a broader spectrum of players. Now, let's talk about the argument against easier games. While easier games have opened up the doors for more people to enjoy the world of gaming, not everyone sees this as a positive trend. For many gamers, the joy of playing lies in the challenge, overcoming obstacles, mastering complex mechanics, and feeling a sense of genuine accomplishment. These titles have gained legendary status, not because they're just visually stunning or have compelling stories, but also because they offer relentless challenges that demand patience, skill, and determination. Consider Dark Souls. Its unforgiving combat and cryptic world design forces players to adapt, learn, and master the game's systems. The thrill of finally defeating a tough boss after dozens of attempts is unlike anything else. It's not just about winning, it's about earning that victory. Easier games might lack this satisfaction. If everything is handed to you on a silver platter, where's the incentive to keep pushing forward? The risk with this is games become forgettable because they don't challenge players enough to make the experience truly memorable. As the saying goes, nothing worth having comes easy, and for some, that applies to gaming too. Something I don't like as well is the trend of overbearing tutorials and constant hints in modern games. These can disrupt the immersion and rob players of the joy of discovery. The problem with excessive guidance is that it can make players feel like they're being talked down to. Part of the magic of gaming lies in figuring out for yourself. Just exploring the world, piecing together its mechanics, and uncovering its secrets. When the game spoon-feeds you every solution, it removes the sense of curiosity and agency that makes exploration so rewarding. This lack of hand-holding added to the sense of adventure and made every breakthrough feel like a genuine achievement. Modern games that over-explain everything risk losing this magic. So, here we are, at the crossroads of an age-old debate. Are modern games too easy, or are they simply evolving to meet the needs of a broader, more diverse audience? It's a question that doesn't have a clear-cut answer because at its core, gaming is deeply personal. What feels like a breeze to one player might be an insurmountable challenge to another. Easy and hard aren't fixed metrics, they're shaped by our preferences, our skill, and even the amount of time we can dedicate to gaming. For others, nothing beats the adrenaline rush of conquering Sekiro's punishing bosses. What we're really talking about here isn't just difficulty. A challenging game can leave you with a sense of triumph, while a more accessible one might invite you to explore a world at your own pace or tell a story that stays with you long after the credits roll. And for me, both experiences are valid and both have a place in the gaming landscape. So, where do we go from here? Perhaps the real question isn't whether games are too easy or too hard, but whether they're giving us the experience we're looking for. But now I want to hear from you. What's your take? Do you think modern games have become too easy, or are they just adapting to a challenging audience? Drop your thoughts in the comments, I'd love to hear your perspectives. Thank you so much for watching this video. Maybe you'll like my next one, and as always, don't forget to like, share, comment, donate, master.